squads, and they've got plenty of reinforcements as well. Missouri has never lost to Vanderbilt at home. It'll be Mark Mitchell, the talented transfer from Duke, winning the opening tip. It's Mizzou in white, it's Vandy in black. A terrific crowd here in Como. Perkins, one of the many transfers for both these squads. He's from Iowa, and a turnover will start things off as Hogard spots and fires up a three, rims off, and flying in for the rebound is Trent Pierce. Missouri's starting five, again, the familiar name, of course, is Tamar Bates, but he's got some more help this year. Mark Mitchell has been terrific for them, averaging over 13 points and 5 rebounds per game as Huffman has whistled for the first foul of the game.
Pretty appropriate that the first possession of the game resulted in a turnover, because both of these teams are ball hawking on the defensive end.
Yeah, they're ball hawking, and then in the case of Vanderbilt, they've been so good not turning it over. They have fewer turnovers than their opponents in 13 out of 15 games, so that's going to be a terrific matchup within the game as well. First three fired up by Mizzou is a make, and it's Tamar Bates. Averages over 13 points a game and one of the better three-point shooters in the land. Vanderbilt shoots the three fairly well, but their strength is their spacing, their movement. They cause a lot of problems with this style of play, and a great drive by A.J. Hogard, who's averaging 17 and a half in conference play.
Mike, that's that physicality that I talked about in the open with Hogard. He is just so powerful in the way that he can attack the rim off the bounce.
Robinson on a step back three. Anthony Robinson from downtown shoots 32% on the year, does the sophomore.
What is it about you and I in the building and everybody makes threes?
Oh my goodness, what a show we had in Norman just a few days ago with Oklahoma and A&M. A couple of players going on an absolute heater. Hopefully we'll have a few of those here today. Another turnover forced by that suffocating Missouri defense. Robinson stuck in the lane and somehow sneaks it through right on McLaughlin.
Nice little acrobatic finish by Robinson.
Vanderbilt is not a big team. They lost a couple of their bigs before the season started, right after Mark Byington took the job. McLaughlin is their closest thing to a true big man. In the lane, Hogard wanted a whistle, did not get it. Bates leads the troops into front court, and he is tripped and fouled on the play by Tyler Nickel.
Missouri has a couple of sophomores who have made big leaps in their production. One of them is Anthony Robinson II. Has become a much better player. When you take a look at his shooting numbers, he was 36% and 21% from the arc. Both of those are up over 10 percentage points. He's playing really well as a sophomore.
He'll need to keep it up in this game today. And both these teams right now with impressive resumes, good enough to go dancing at the season end today. Open three, wide open three, and that is nothing but the bottom of the net for Trent Pierce. 32% on the year, and Mizzou's a perfect 4 for 4 from the field.
Pretty nice stroke for a guy 6'10".
Nickel, the ultimate glue guy for this Vanderbilt squad. He's another one that rarely, if ever, makes a mistake on the floor.
Here's the matchup we talked about. Hogard and Bates. Now they switched up.
Hogard deferred, and that's not a good move because that sets up Magnon, who didn't know the shot clock was down to a second. There you see Dennis Gates, and what you're seeing defensively is a staple of a Dennis Gates squad going back to his days at Cleveland State, longtime assistant under Leonard Hamilton at Florida State. Burst onto the scene with an incredible opening year at Mizzou. Last year, as Mark mentioned in the open, nothing could go right. Mizzou went 0-19 in league play. Clearly, this is a different looking squad. Mizzou trying to tack on to an 8-0 run. Perkins measures a three. Perkins Perkins. Mizzou remains perfect. 5 for 5 from the field and 4 for 4 from 3.
It's good to see Perkins on the floor. We didn't know if he was going to play today. He was out of practice yesterday with an illness.
An 11-0 run for Mizzou. In the game now is Tyler Tanner, the talented freshman. Open three, knocked down. That is Magnon, the transfer from Cornell, where he was all Ivy League.
Just his third made three of the year.
Timeout on the floor. Missouri up big here in the Zoo. Numbers statistically, they're very much like each other in terms of points per game, 3-point field goals made per game, and steals, 2 of the top 5 teams in the country in that category. So they've been winning games in very similar fashion, that is for sure. Of course, the difference, Vanderbilt hitting the reset button with head coach Mark Byington, who's done a great job early on. And this is what Missouri does as well as anybody. Get to the free throw line. Their first trip here, they are not afraid to attack that rim.
Yeah, they get to the free throw line almost 29 times a game. That's second in the NCAA. And they are tied for first in terms of free throw makes. I just love Anthony Robinson at the point. Playing under control. His assist to turnover ratio is marvelous this year. He's been in double figures 7 times, including that outstanding game where he had 29 against Cal.
From Tallahassee, 6'3", 180-pound sophomore. You've got 3 Missouri Tigers, well, 4 if you include Caleb Grill, who we should see here momentarily. In fact, he just stepped onto the floor. 4 Tigers averaging double figures. Grill, of course, one of the sharp shooters from three-point land.
Well, the Missouri team is really deep. I don't think Dennis Gates will hesitate to play 10 or 11 guys.
No question about it. The number of players that they can bring off the bench and feel confident doing. Great ball movement, sets up the open three, and that is drilled by M.J. Collins, the transfer from Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Collins had a great shooting night when Vanderbilt played Virginia Tech in the SEC ACC Challenge, but has not shot the ball well since then.
Tigers up by 7 as we approach the 15-minute mark. That's Josh Gray, the former South Carolina Gamecock, on the floor for Mizzou. There's more quick hands by Tanner. Desperation heave, no, and flying in for the rebounds is Jason Edwards, which is a good sign because there was a question mark whether or not he'd be able to go. He banged his knee in the last game and was unable to perform to his normal excellence. In fact, it was the first time ever he played in college and not score a single point in a game.
One of the more explosive guards in this conference. When he gets feet in the paint, he attracts help. The kick out to the opposite wing and then the extra pass led to the M.J. Collins three-point shot.
Tanner, the inbounder, and a better choice you could not find since he hasn't turned it over in over 300 minutes. And the action leads to a 2-hand slam for Devin McLaughlin, the transfer from BC, who has been so valuable for them.
Mike, you and I were at Vandy's practice yesterday. How much time did they spend on out-unders? I mean, an inordinate amount of time.
Very meticulous, great drive to the rack by Mark Mitchell. Yeah, both these teams, we watched both practices. A lot of attention to detail, no question for each squad. I thought what was interesting, did you see the fade and fire by Edwards? For Vanderbilt, the #1 thing they talked about was spacing, not just from a 3-point line distance, but they have a fictitious 4-point and 5-point line. Explain what they mean by that under Coach Byington.
Well, as you take a look at Mark Byington, Mike, in spacing, every foot matters. So what they were going over yesterday is they wanted to draw Missouri's defense a foot further, not a 4-point line, but a 5-point line, to make it more difficult for them to keep their gap integrity, which means if you're spread out offensively, you're spread out defensively. That should open up some lanes to drive and get feet in the paint.
They've already had some good open looks in this game so far. They trail by 7. It's Carey in the game, finds Nickel.
Yeah, I thought Mitchell got away with a foul.
Edwards, strong take and flips it up with the left hand.
And see what happens when you spread out the defense? It opens up the driving lanes.
First bucket for Jason Edwards, one of the leading scorers in the SEC. Grill, look out, open three, doesn't miss many of those. Gray gets the rebound, and it will remain Missouri basketball. Josh Gray is not a scorer.
Yeah.
He wasn't one at LSU. He wasn't one at South Carolina. But that man gets rebounds.
This is pretty funny. Watch underneath the basket, bottom of your screen. Talk about big on little.
Yeah.
That's Josh Gray against Jason Edwards.
That's about a foot in height and 100 and something pounds on him. Missouri scorching hot at 86% from the field so far in the first half.
Mike, you're going to see Mitchell play out on the floor quite a bit.
Backdoor cut for Grill. How about that?
Well, how about Josh Gray being the assist man?
Yeah. Caleb Grill, such a luxury to have him back after being injured all of last year. The take by Tanner is off the mark. Here's Missouri going downhill. Missed it. Warwick had the drive but couldn't finish. Now Collins the other way. Tempo is up quite a bit here on this latest stanza. Carey missed it at the rack.
Do you like your action 94 feet?
Bring it. Strong take, a block, and a whistle. That'll go against Nickel.
Mark Mitchell, and I started to say this earlier, he has some guard skills. Watch this for a guy 6'9", 230. The little hesitation, the blow by, going to the rim, attacking the rim, getting to the free throw line. He gets to the free throw line a lot, 92 times on the year. That's about 6 a game.
Named to the Julius Erving Small Forward of the Year watch list. A double-digit scorer at Duke. You see players transfer from Duke that typically just ride the bench and they don't think they're going to get any playing time. Mark Mitchell was an effective player, a former ESPN top 100 recruit. You see what he did 2 years at Duke, 10 points, 51% from the field. This was a huge pickup in the portal. In fact, Missouri had one of the top recruiting classes in the country and one of the top portal classes in the country. The lead swells to 9, 12 and a half minutes to go, first half. Hogard harassed up top. And a whistle and a reach-in foul on Gray.
See, I think officials have got to call more of these kinds of fouls. Gray hedges out, uses his arm and his leg, just a bump. And one of the things that was emphasized this year to the officials was straight line path.
Right.
In other words, if you're going on a straight line, you can't get bumped off of that. The only way a defender can do that is if he's in your line.
This goes back to the initiative freedom of movement, which I think has made the game much more entertaining. Hogard gets it to crawl in. Beautiful pivot by A.J. Hogard, the former Michigan State Spartan.
If you want to watch guard play for both teams that utilizes their upper body strength to beat guys off the bounce and get in the paint, this is the game for you.
Three ball misses. Gray slithering in for another rebound and then throws it off Carey out of bounds. 11:51 to go. Tigers up by 7 over the Commodores. Guys to go for about 35 points out of nowhere, and then a last-second shot, and you'll be right there in business. He is the Professor Mark Wise. I am Mike Workin. Hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday afternoon. A great action of SEC hoops today on the network. You saw Auburn and South Carolina. The Gamecocks led that game most of the way. Auburn, after 2 missed free throws by Nick Pringle, holds on to win it, but it could be bittersweet. We'll talk more about the injury to Janai Bloom, a scary situation when she came down and actually had to leave the game. What looks like a possible lower leg injury for Broom, the All-American. Strong take and a two-hand slam by Mark Mitchell, dropping the hammer.
That's exactly what happens when you play on the third side of the floor. What do I mean by that? There were 2 ball reversals, and it wore out and confused the Vanderbilt defense.
Mitchell now with 6 points to lead the way for Missouri. See how far the guards are back. That's that 5-point line, Mark.
Yes.
Way back, try to create some spacing against this defense. That's just a rise and fire one-on-one move.
That's a win for the defense.
Absolutely.
Watch out. Watch out.
Collins, strong take, and the finish. And right now, Mark Mitchell is having his way. A quick timeout from Vanderbilt.
Right now, Mark Byington is going to talk about transition defense and protecting the rim. A couple of possessions by Mark Mitchell. First on ball reversal, that's a straight line drive, that blast cut, if you will. No weak side help defensively, and that's an easy flush. As a matter of fact, it's way too easy. A nice little seal off by Josh Gray. And then in transition, move the ball ahead. Where are the guys in the black jerseys back on defense? Missouri takes advantage, and they've gone back out in front by double figures.
Mitchell already 8 points. Missouri is shooting 69% from the field. That's a good way to win a game, too.
Yes.
And, you know, you and I talked about it. We've seen these teams. We had Vanderbilt a couple weeks ago. Again, both these teams have been surprises. I think Vanderbilt's been the bigger surprise. When you watch Vanderbilt, they are not going to wow anybody with their athleticism. Missouri can take your breath away in that category.
Well, I'm not going to talk about surprises because we're going to surprise you with our own list.
That's right.
Coming up.
Coming up. And those players in the last promo from Tennessee might be featured in that as well. Again, another shot at the rim for Carey. He just can't get it to drop.
It's, again, Mitchell with a lot of guard skills.
Ray remains in the game for Mizzou to patrol the paint. This is Warwick. Marquez Warwick.
Isolation.
Mitchell reach-in foul. That'll go against Grant Huffman.
That's just the strength, really, of Mark Mitchell. Again, I'm going to repeat this several times today. He gets to the free throw line a lot. They play him in that on their on-ball action. He's a short roller, and they get him the ball in that free throw line area a lot, and he is very confident in terms of driving the ball and utilizing angles to get fouled and get to the free throw line.
You know, you see Missouri already 4 of 5 from the line. Vandy hasn't shot a free throw. Missouri on the season, #1 in the country in made free throws per game at 21. One of my favorite stats, the old Bobby Knight, great teams at Indiana, they would routinely make more free throws than their opponent attempted. And if Vanderbilt's not careful, that could be a scenario today.
Absolutely. I didn't mind that three-point shot in transition.
Don't mind that one either if you're Missouri, because when Tamar Bates has an open look, you will gladly take it. Largest lead for Mizzou.
Dennis Gates told you and I at practice yesterday he'd like to see Bates shoot some more threes.
Right.
Well, he's listening to the head coach.
I mean, he's got the stroke. He's been efficient, 35% on the year. 3 ball from the corner. Trying to get Edwards going. He's been quiet. 12-2 run for Mizzou over the last 3.5 minutes.
I like that mature decision. Attack. Oh, that's too lazy of a pass.
Steal by Edwards, and that's got to be a goaltend. The basket will count as Bates just grabbed onto the rim.
Take another look. This is a lazy pass back to the top. That's an easy pickoff. Shooting the gap, if you will, by Edwards. I thought he got bumped right there. I thought that should have been an and-one opportunity. And if you look up the definition of goaltending in the dictionary, it's almost that picture.
Yes, it's.
There was no doubt in that one. That will not be reviewed.
No. I would say this: Tamar Bates did not get cheated.
Yes.
He got his money's worth on that goaltend call. Mizzou up 13 with the basketball under 9 minutes to go. Robinson whips it into the wing, and it'll be out of bounds to Vanderbilt. Somebody's got to step up for Vanderbilt, Coach. I just don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah, again, if they can't get Edwards going, then Hogard has to take over. But right now, Mike, we often talk about the quality of shot. Missouri is getting whatever they want on the offensive end.
100%. Again, Missouri, it's an entirely, I mean, Bates and Grill, of course, we didn't see Grill on the floor last year. You and I got to talk to him in street clothes whenever we had a Missouri game, but the rest of this team has been majorly enhanced. There's an and one. You got the call that time, and Jason Edwards will go to the free throw line, and it'll be Vanderbilt's first free throw of the half.
He is so difficult to keep in front. Watch this jump stop and lean to the left, jump to the left. Defender was not in legal guarding position. That's an easy call.
You and I had Jason Edwards when he was with North Texas last year in the NIT. They sprung the upset on the road at LSU. Back to a 10-point game. Robinson in traffic. Finds Bates up top.
Oh, here's a great matchup.
Bates on Hogard. Looked like he might have gotten away with a walk. Backdoor cut to Grill. Taps it up. And great defense that time by the Commodores. Here comes Hogard. On Grill. Kick out pass. Open three. Edwards got it. And Vanderbilt has a little run of its own. That makes it a 7-point game. And a timeout called.
Well, after again a gathering, a stop on the defensive end, it's all about getting feet in the paint and looking for a teammate. Watch in transition. Hogard, it's not quite in the paint, but he knows where Jason Edwards is at all times, and Edwards delivers. Vanderbilt trying to get the fight back in the middle of the ring.
And then the bracketology, no team can touch it. Right now, the SEC has 13 teams in, including the two you are watching right here today, part of Joe Lunardi's last 4 in, Missouri and Vanderbilt.
And no conference has ever had 13 teams in the NCAA tournament. Isolation.
Mitchell, little bully ball on McLaughlin, and then flying in an offensive rebound. Great job crashing by Pierce.
And Pierce getting his best Anderson Garcia look there. The way he crashed in from the weak side.
We talked about the last 4 in, Missouri and Vanderbilt right there. I mean, literally 67 and 68. You could say the last 2 in, Mark Wise.
Well, not only that, but look at Texas lurking in that first 4 out.
And the one of the, we keep saying this, and I know for a lot of people, when we get to this time of the year, you forget about some of the games in, say, November.
Right.
They count the same
Absolutely.
in March, and the hay is in the barn. Every game from this point on is a conference game, so it's almost impossible to lose a lot of ground.
And for these two teams, Mike, I'm calling this a top half, bottom half, because the winner of this game will be in the top half of the league moving forward, and the loser is going to be in the bottom half moving forward.
Correct. Vanderbilt on an 8-0 run as Missouri tries to slow that down. Inside, Mitchell hammered by McLaughlin, saving what would have been an easy slam for the former Duke Blue Devil.
I thought Mitchell did a good job of releasing to the basket in his post-up that time. I see so many big guys, Mike, that want to hold off the defender and hold their arm out like throw it, throw it, throw it. You've actually got to bump your defender and release. And if the guy doesn't throw it to you, he just doesn't throw it.
Right.
The best I've ever seen at that, ever, Danny Manning.
Yeah,
he would ride you up the lane, release, and he had the trust that his teammates were going to find him.
He had the body and the skill, too.
Yes.
Unlike so many other players of his size. That's a YouTube one for the younger generation out there. Go watch a Danny Manning highlight reel. Danny and the Miracles, 1988 champions.
How about a little 2-3?
How do you break it? What are you looking for?
Free throw line, short corner. 2 weak spots of the 2-3.
Edwards and Hogard playing a game of catch. There's a baseline cut. Great ball movement. Hogard passed up the 3. Now he's got to shoot it. Shot clock winding down. Too much passing. One too many passes from Hogarth.
Every possession has a moment where the offense has to shoot the ball. And I thought Hogarth passed up that shot. And then Grill, again, be there on the shot, move your feet. Everybody thinks defense is played with your hands, and you do want to be disruptive. But defense is played with your feet.
Robinson brings it up the floor into the hands of Mitchell.
And Mike, you know how I feel about coaches that mix up their defenses.
I think
it should be a rule.
I'm 100% with you. There's no valor in playing man-to-man for 40 minutes every game. There's some valor in that.
Yeah.
That's a three-point look. Somewhat contested for Anthony Robinson.
That's his second one on the day. He is a completely different player than a year ago, playing with so much confidence.
Missouri feeling awfully comfortable behind the arc, 6 out of 10. 6 minutes remaining in half number one. A 12-point cushion right now for the hometown Tigers, riding a 12-game home winning streak.
Take another look at the Robinson three-point shot. He was 7 for 22 entering today. That's just a jab step to create space. Good looking rotation on the ball, and Robinson knocks down another three-point shot for the homestanding Tigers.
Now Mitchell and Robinson have been a two-man show. Just 2 fewer points than the whole Vanderbilt squad at this point. That last foul was only the 4th on Mizzou. So again, Vandy struggling to get to the line just one time. Missouri already 6 for 10 there. Loose ball. And a tie-up, I believe, yes. But the shot clock is at 1.3. So Vanderbilt will maintain possession, but they're going to have to make quick work of getting a shot off.
Grill was so instrumental in being disruptive. He denied Huffman the rotation. Now watch Grill be the first to get on the floor. I always say if you're the first guy on the floor, you're usually rewarded. It wasn't a turnover only because Vanderbilt had the possession error.
Yeah, Grill is more than just a three-point specialist. We talked to him a lot last year. So what do you want to do? And he said, I want to coach. When I'm done playing, I see coaching in my career. Again, how do you not know? Out of a little bit of a break there, you got just more than a second left. You got to be a little more anxious on that.
No question. It's not very good shot clock awareness.
It's the 4th turnover. You've had 3 shot clock violations on Vanderbilt. And a whistle, another foul on Vandy. That's team foul number 8. A terrific gymnastics doubleheader we have for you on Friday night on the SEC Network. Number 8 Arkansas, number 17 Auburn get us started at 7. Then number 1 Oklahoma hosting number 9 Mizzou. That'll be in the Lloyd Noble Center in Norman.
Do the locals just call that the Lloyd? I need to find that out when I go back Tuesday.
It's a good question. I don't know.
I'm going to start that.
That was our first ever trip for a basketball game.
Great crowd.
Great environment. A lot of history with Oklahoma. I think people would be surprised to know Oklahoma's been to 5 Final Fours.
Right.
Great additions to an already strong league with Oklahoma and Texas.
And Mike, to the point that you wanted to hit on all game long, and I agree completely. This is Missouri's 10th free throw attempt, while Vanderbilt only has 1.
Yeah, that's something that Missouri made a concerted effort in recruiting. They want players that were going to be aggressive, knew how to get to the free throw line, and that's very often how Missouri wins games. Now it's a 7-0 Missouri run to counter the Vanderbilt run earlier. Hogarth, a lot of dribbling up top, but not going anywhere. Exactly, just turning it over. Grill, feed to Gray, layup no good. Offensive rebound. Great game for Robinson, wide open 3. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Pierce.
Missouri right now outworking Vanderbilt.
Yes, all the hustle points and tangibles so far in favor of Mizzou. Tough shot, a little bit of a force that time for Hogard. Missouri plus 10 on the glass so far. Pierce takes it strong, missed it. Gray flying in, he lost it, and out of bounds to Vanderbilt.
Right now, the Missouri defense is just swarming Vanderbilt. Take another look. Nowhere to go with the ball. That leads to dribbling in the same place over and over. And on the offensive rebound, always kick out and look for a three-point shooter. Why? Because the defense is so scattered. Pierce makes them pay, but credit Robinson with the great helper.
This will be a very important last 4 minutes and change for Vanderbilt. You do not want this thing to get away as they attack the zone here.
Might be a time for a Tyler Nickel 3 against the zone.
Pass barely got into Hogard. Missed the mid-range jumper and then tweaked his right ankle. He's limping, getting back on defense. Hogard trying to play defense basically on one ankle right now. Glad to see Pierce defer to Warwick.
And with one ankle, his defense would be better than yours with two ankles.
See, it's that kind of verbal abuse that I take game in, game out from one Mark Wise. Seeking therapy for that as we speak. Maybe I'll find a good therapist during the media timeout. 3:28 to go. Missouri on top by 17. A team that has to be in that conversation, Fish and Slay and Alyssa. How about the Florida Gators? I mean, right now, Florida is playing as good a basketball as anybody in the country. They'll have a tough one today in Fayetteville.
Right, and I'm going to add another one. I don't think people are talking enough about Mississippi State.
I agree. I was right there with you, yeah. And you know why that is? And I'm glad we mentioned that in our M&M surprises, because people don't think offense when they think Mississippi State, but they are vastly improved on the offensive end.
Claudell Harris has given Josh Hubbard a running mate, a scoring running mate in the backcourt. And then you're talking about your Swiss Army knife guy in Cameron Matthews.
Cameron Matthews, the ultimate Swiss Army knife. Nobody stuffs a stat sheet better than number 4 for Mississippi State.
And they've got the Cats later tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun as well at the Hump. They can't seem to beat Kentucky at home. They've had a number of close calls. Vanderbilt trying to make this a closer call. They need a little bit of a run here in the final 3 minutes of the half.
Yeah, Vandy doesn't do a lot of switching.
That's the look you want if you're Missouri and Grill. Hogard all the way. Open three, got it. Big shot by Tyler Nickel.
I'm curious if the officials thought that ball got knocked loose from Hogard, because he went up in the air and the ball, he caught it himself.
Yeah. I think that was the call. I couldn't tell with Steven Anderson along the baseline if he signaled there was some contact with the ball. Maybe we can get another look. Weaving his way and just find that's too easy. That was Warwick just navigating through without any resistance.
Well, credit Josh Gray clearing out the path like a pulling guard.
And he's big enough to do that, that's for sure. Nickel, reach in foul. That'll be on Pierce, but again, that's only 5 fouls on Mizzou.
Let's go back and take a look at this A.J. Hogard drive. Does this ball get knocked loose? Take another look. No. I mean, that's just a flat-out illegal play. And throws it to himself. Now, does he get 2 hockey assists on that play?
He gets something. Missouri is saying he should get credit for a turnover. Another strong take by Hogard, who will go to the line for a pair.
Another example of Hogard using that upper body strength that I talked about. One of the more physical perimeter players in the SEC this year.
This is only the 2nd free throw of the half for the Commodores, and it is a make for Hogard. Got a really good women's basketball matchup for you on Monday night. Camille Pierre and Michaela Blakes lead Vanderbilt against Flo Jays Johnson, an undefeated number 6 LSU. Coverage tips at 7 o'clock Eastern time.
LSU, one of 3 unbeatens on the women's side with UCLA and Ohio State. And Kim Mulkey's team has 4 double-figure scores. Flajay Johnson and Morrow and Williams and Gilbert. And by the way, if you want to see an interesting shot as a game winner, YouTube, Google, whatever, Kaylin Gilbert's game winner to beat Tennessee the other night. It's a pretty spectacular shot.
Can we go ahead and give everybody the calendar evite for LSU South Carolina now?
January 2-3.
I'm ready. Open 3. All of a sudden, Mizzou's gotten a little chilly from behind the arc. See if Vanderbilt can capitalize. 3 ball. Collins.
Couple 3-point shot makes by MJ Collins, who's had a very hot and cold season in terms of shooting the ball.
Commodores come in 2-0 on the road. Road wins at Virginia Tech and LSU.
Mike, doesn't it feel like Missouri should be up more?
Absolutely. It feels like they've dominated this half in every way imaginable, and yet it's still fairly close. That was a brick fired up by Cruz.
Yeah, we were on the angle of that shot.
Never had a
that
chance.
Never looked good.
McLaughlin carving out space and taps his own miss in, and all of a sudden Vanderbilt closes to within single digits.
Too many guys in the white jerseys standing around.
5-second differential, game clock to shot clock. A 7-0 run for the Commodores. Missouri bleeding the clock. Down to 5 now. Warwick with 3. Warwick, a desperation heave. No. McLaughlin boards it. Vandy's got 3 seconds. Here's Hogard downhill. Hogard with the runner, and it pops out. You couldn't have asked for a much better look. It couldn't go down, though, but Vanderbilt closes with a 7-0 run. Missouri leads it by 9, 41-30.
Quick start for Missouri, and then Mark Mitchell also got in the act. But he does a lot of his damage at the free throw line in terms of the way he can play and drive the ball to the basket. And when you add those 2 guys up, 22 points combined from Robinson and Mitchell.
Missouri starts off the second half the way they played much of the first half, drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line. Up and whistled for that foul. As you see a game summary, Mitchell and Robinson leading the way with 22 points. Vanderbilt did end the half on a 10-2 run.
For 2 teams that pride themselves on being ball hawkers, a team, a roster full of thieves, if you will, both teams took good care of the basketball.
Yeah, that's certainly been a mark of Vanderbilt all year long. Their assist to turnover ratio under that man, Coach Mark Byington, 230 to 146. That is outstanding. And of course, that's highlighted by Tyler Tanner, 31 assists and no turnovers on the season.
Wow, 2 missed free throws to start the second half. I often say 2 missed free throws. That's like a turnover.
See if Vanderbilt can take advantage of that turnover. Nichols been quiet. Around the horn.
They have crept into the 4-point line. They did not maintain their 5-point discipline with their spacing. And Missouri was able to rotate defensively and cover out.
And then McLaughlin fouls over Pierce for the foul.
You can still take the charge, just not very often. You have to be the primary defender. And Pierce rotated over, did a nice job.
Mitchell up top, finding Bates. Pretty quiet first half for Bates, only 3 points.
But he didn't miss a shot, he didn't force things.
Turnover, and that will be Vanderbilt basketball.
So the first 2 possessions for Mizzou, 2 missed free throws, and a turnover.
Right.
It's not the way Dennis Gates wanted his team to come out.
Not the way he drew it up. The question becomes, does Vanderbilt start to take advantage? Who heats up for this Commodores team? Drawing the foul. You can hear that one from here. Grant Huffman.
Yeah, Huffman not really a scorer, averages just over 5 points a game. But his assist to turnover ratio coming into this game, 40 assists, 16 turnovers.
And he's another one, 25 steals. And he's opportunistic on the defensive end. Former Davidson Wildcat. Played 4 years for Davidson. Averaged a career best 13 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds last year, and led the A10 in assists per game. And when Mark Byington took this job, remember, it was his James Madison squad. You and I had him when they won the Sun Belt Championship down in Pensacola, and then he goes and pulls off a first-round upset in the NCAA tournament, and then already before the second game, he had agreed to take the job at Vanderbilt. When he got there, though, he had to find players. He said it was like a massive game of speed dating just to find out what our roster was going to look like. Robinson creeping in and getting that one to drop.
Well, Mike, we tried to warn everybody about the JMU team last year.
Yes, we did. They were incredible story last year. Mark Byington, everywhere Mark Byington has gone, he's rebuilt a program that was in dire straits and then turned into a winner. That's what they're hoping he'll do at Vandy. Mitchell, high-flying, two-handed flush. 13 points for Mitchell.
Now, that wasn't necessarily artistic, but effective.
Ogard, power move, too strong. McLaughlin missed the bunny. McLaughlin fighting for it and fell on the baseline out of bounds. It'll be Missouri ball.
Take another look. I think this pass gets deflected on its way out to Mitchell. See if that pass, I thought McLaughlin got his fingertips on it, but he's facing one way and the pass goes the other. That leads to an easy flush for Mitchell.
Tony Perkins will bring it into front court, met by Huffman. Around the screen from Mitchell. His first stanza has kind of been a little bit sluggish. Nobody can get anything going in the way of rhythm offensively. Well, that will help. When in doubt, go to 25 in white, Mark Mitchell.
What drives coaches crazy is not the initial shot, it's the putback.
And that's what Coach Byington saw. And he'll burn a timeout here with 16:51 to go.
Mitchell inside. Watch when he misses the first one. Watch all the guys in black jerseys stand. He's the only one jumping. Mitchell delivers. And Missouri, in terms of an inside-outside option, but I just like the way Mitchell plays out on the floor. So comfortable. I talked about his guard skills. He's not afraid to put the ball on the deck.
Great crowd here in Como. They're trying to win their 13th consecutive home game at the Zoo. Missouri has led throughout. Vanderbilt trying to get it back into single digits.
Tyler Nickel has not had many good shot opportunities today.
Edwards has, and he has an and one right there. There's just something about his game that is completely wired to score.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind is electric. He can be electric with his quickness, his explosiveness. Baseline side, he feels that's almost an NBA move, Mike, because he felt the contact. So why not get the shooting foul? And he just happens to go in.
Out of Atlanta, Parkview High School. Started his career at the University of North Texas.
Mike, every time I think Mizzou is about to stretch this out to 15 or 16,
right,
Vandy answers.
And he's got an answer. Still hanging around, even though Missouri has controlled this game for much of the day. Bates Drive and kick, baseline cut. Beautiful execution that time by Missouri. And on the finish is Tony Burke, the former Iowa Hawkeye.
It's just good ball movement, good body movement.
Baseline drive and a little hops displayed by Chris Magnon.
Wow, a rec league has broken out. Nobody wants to guard. This is a tough matchup for McLaughlin. He has to guard out on the floor.
Right now, Missouri beating him on the offensive glass. And ahead of the pack, Magnon all the way, lays it in with the left. He wanted the whistle as well, but he'll take the deuce, and Vanderbilt has pulled.
Great vision that time by A.J. Hogarth.
Very few points in transition today for either squad, especially Vanderbilt. 15-minute mark of the second half. Bates probing the right side on Magnon, takes it strong, missed it, and McLaughlin cleans it up for the Commodores.
Here we go, going to be the hang-around team.
Hogarth.
Well, that's just attack mode.
And McLaughlin there for the second opportunity. It's a 6-point game in Como.
A.J. Hogarth, I want you to watch his eyes after getting the basketball to move the ball ahead. 11 block. See his eyes? He already knows. Easy deuce. Back in the middle of the ring.
Much they are improved from a year ago.
Absolutely.
It was highlighted by a win against #1 Kansas. Obviously, that spoke volumes, but they are a team that there's a lot to like with this roster. And I think, Mark, and you as a former coach can speak to this as well as anybody, roster composition is a huge skill now more than ever for a head coach.
No, I call it talent acquisition.
Yeah.
And whether you're paying players or you're bringing in freshmen, and all that goes into creating a roster now, more GMs we're seeing
right
on the basketball side.
And you got to hope all the parts fit together and they gel together. That certainly seems to be the case for this Missouri squad. Shot clock down to 8. Strong take, missed it, front rim, battle for the rebound, and there to corral it is Hogarth. Hogarth downhill, Hogarth at the rim, missed it. Everything but the finish, and you've got a Missouri player down. That's Robinson throbbing in pain.
Again, Hogarth attacks the shoulders of a defender as well as any player I have seen this year. He just creates angles. It's Robinson, I believe, that's down on the floor.
Oh, he got hit in the eye.
Yeah, this will be a quick review.
It'll be a quick no escalation of any kind. Clearly not intentional. Clearly not rising to the level of a flagrant foul. And hopefully Robinson can, flush that out.
Robinson has made such a sophomore leap in production from a year ago. I talked about his numbers last year, 36% shooting, 21% from the arc.
After review,
both of those.
There's incidental contact on the play, no foul.
And Stephen Anderson, our head referee, and we now get to actually hear the referees, much like in football over the years, approach the microphone and get a nice explanation. Although I miss our time consulting where they would come over to the table, say hello, exchange pleasantries, and then give us the verdict. Now Hogarth, if he gets that layup to go and he was right there at the rim, all of a sudden it's a 4-point game. Missouri looks a little shell-shocked here. Let's see how they respond to the Vanderbilt run.
Might be time for Bates to get involved.
Yeah, Tamar Bates still on 3 points. That's a settle by Warwick, an air ball step back 3. You can get that shot anytime you want.
Well, he's an outstanding three-point shooter, 48% on the year, but he didn't get to 48% shooting that kind of three-point shot.
He was a scoring machine at Northern Kentucky, over 2,000 points, and that's an illegal screen on Carey. Jalen Carey, who came over with Coach Byington from JMU, they think in time he's going to be a special force in this league.
Carey never does get set here. Watch as he moves and tries to twist. That's way too late.
Oh.
That's an easy call. Vanderbilt has picked up their defensive intensity. Good hands by McLaughlin, and gets to the deck first.
Into the hands of Edwards. Edwards full throttle. Tries to thread the needle. And it will be Vanderbilt basketball.
Devin McLaughlin. We talked about Vanderbilt and Missouri lead the league. Top 5 in the country in steals. That's just quick hands. And that time the guy that went on the deck first did get rewarded.
Tanner back into the game, feeds McLaughlin, rejected at the rim.
That was still way too easy, though.
And then just another rather careless turnover. Missouri a little bit out of sync here. Vanderbilt, and the door is wide open to make a run. 7 turnovers on Mizzou. Here's the guy that never turns it over, Tyler Tanner. 0 turnovers in over 300 minutes, the true freshman.
Mike, say that again.
I don't believe in jinxes. I believe in the freshman. Does Vandy believe in Carey? Knocks down the triple. Jalen Carey only shooting 17% on the year from downtown.
That's just his 4th made 3.
And it is a 9-0 run by the Commodores. Mitchell thought about the 3. Great ball movement. Here's the 3-point shooter. Back iron for Grill. There's Gray. Another offensive rebound by the 7-footer. And then that was right in front of us. Tanner and Perkins.
Tanner got away with a foul there on the reach in. Grill was wide open for the 3 ball out of the corner, though. Good execution offensively.
Grill is 0 for 5. I don't know if Grill has ever been 0 for 5 in his life. There's some good open looks from downtown, but he's missed every one of them.
Now, Missouri has got an interesting lineup with Mitchell off the floor. It's like 4 guards and Gray.
Now, all of a sudden, things have gotten very interesting here. A 3-point game, 12 and change to play. Vanderbilt, the hang-around team, trying to pull off an upset on the road. Perkins threw it right off the foot. That'll be a kick basketball. MJ Collins right off of his size 13.
Mike, it doesn't look like Missouri's running their offense at the same speed that they ran it in the first half.
Yeah, the pace of this game has slowed down, and I would think that would favor Vanderbilt as well.
And now Mitchell and Bates both out of the game.
Robinson gets a screen from Grill. Met by Edwards. Grill going to fire up another. That's about to happen. You knew at some point that man was going to connect.
Mike, he said, I've got your 0 for 5.
I got your 0 for 5 right here, pal.
How about Missouri back to the zone? I just love this as a change of pace.
Swing pass, wide open 3. Rims off, and then Grill shows off a little rebounding prowess as well. Perkins lost it. Numbers for Vandy.
Smart play.
Yeah.
That is a smart play if they call this on the floor.
Collins had a wide open Tyler Tanner, but didn't get it to him.
How about let's trade back-to-back 3 balls. First, Jalen Carey knocking down his 4th of the year, and in response, Caleb Grill from deep.
that was also not going to rise to the level of a flagrant foul as we take another look on the foul on Grill.
This is such a smart play by Grill. This is almost an NBA ruling in terms of on his way to the basket, so that he's going to get 2 free throws. But I thought that was a really smart, intelligent play as Vanderbilt had numbers in transition.
Vanderbilt as a team, a 74% free throw shooting team. The man at the line, MJ Collins, the former Virginia Tech Hokie, is 71%. Missouri led by 16 with a little more than 2 minutes to go in the first half. Since then, Vanderbilt has gone on a 21-11 run. This is a Vanderbilt team that I think, we talked about how big of a surprise they've been. Mark Byington, no surprise if you follow what he has done, that he would do a great coaching job right away in Nashville.
I agree completely, and his team now a perfect 8 for 8 at the free throw line.
All of a sudden, it's a 4-point game. Where do you want to see Missouri go? They've gotten a little choppy on offense. Another jump ball, and Vanderbilt has the arrow. They just seem completely out of sync, Mark.
Again, this entry pass defensively, I thought Magnon got away with a hack. Take another look. Yeah, that's a foul. I mean, you got to call that. That's the receiver of the basketball. And if it's like the defensive back hacking the arm of the wide receiver trying to go up for the pass.
It's kind of like you at the buffet table in the media room. God forbid if you're in front of Mark Wise. You're going to take a shot so he can get that extra bowl of pasta.
Nice job by Tanner to get feet in the paint. Magnon's got to be ready to shoot that.
Offensive foul, a hooking foul on Tanner. Now, I believe that would count as a turnover, would it not?
Offensive foul.
An offensive foul, so that would be his first career turnover in over 300 minutes.
I think we should give him a pass on that.
I think so, too. We'll appeal to the stat board. But that is a turnover officially, so the streak is over. His first one. Meanwhile, on the other end, it's Trent Pierce taking it strong, the 6'10 sophomore out of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, I talked about Robinson's numbers from last year as a freshman to his sophomore year. How about Pierce? Pierce averaged less than 2 points a game last year and played 6 minutes a game. Now he's over 15 minutes. His average is over 8. He has had, again, a sophomore leap.
Triple header on Wednesday here on the SEC Network, including Georgia at Tennessee. How does Tennessee respond, Mark, after that throttling at the hands of the Florida Gators?
Yeah, we'll find out a little bit later when they play Texas tonight. I'm betting practice has been a little interesting in Knoxville for a couple of days.
I would say so. Rick Barnes did not take well to that performance by his squad in Gainesville. Foul on Missouri, and that will send Jalen Carey to the free throw line. Carey, I mentioned he played his freshman year for Coach Byington at JMU. He's the son of Miami All-American and Pro Bowler Vernon Carey, and the brother of Duke standout Vernon Carey Jr. So he's got some great bloodlines there.
I am never a fan of not having players at the free throw line. Never, ever. Free throw shooting is about 2 things and 2 things only: repetition and confidence. And when you don't have guys at the line, you are changing the repetition.
Well, a 57% free throw shooter just came up empty at the line. And that'll be a block foul on the other end, taken by Magnon.
Pierce in attack mode right after catching the pass. This is another example of attacking the shoulder of the defender.
Pretty easy call there. Magnon moving his feet all the way. Missouri has missed 6 of its last 7 shots. Inside, advantage Pierce.
That time Magnon was trying to be a little sneaky on the out under and got burnt.
Missouri back to the zone. And a foul drawn down low. So all of a sudden Vanderbilt frequenting the free throw line.
Mike, keep an eye on 30 Black here. Magnon defensively. He tries to be sneaky. He's going to go around and get the pass to the corner. But what that does is it allows Pierce to come back inside. And that's way too easy. Magnon got caught being a little too aggressive.
And you also see on that play just the difference in size between these two teams. Vanderbilt really doesn't play anybody more than 6'7". They got some bad news before the season started with Kajani Wright, who was supposed to give them some bulk at 6'9", 235. They're not very big. They have to play in spite of their lack of size.
I was about to ask you that. Do you think their lack of size and their success, that's been one of the reasons why they've been such a big surprise?
Well, I think so, yeah.
They're undersized every game.
Every game. I mean, in this league especially, which has no shortage of bulk and talented bigs, Vandy has to just kind of win in spite of it because they don't have that. They've got guys playing out of position and playing much bigger players on a nightly basis. I mean, you can just see it on the free throw line. If you look at the shot of those guys lined up, Missouri looks like they're playing at a different level. And a lane violation on Mizzou. I believe they got Pierce.
Well, points are hard enough to come by sometimes.
Yes. I mean, Missouri is allowing Vanderbilt to stay in this one, and Vanderbilt is a team you do not want to tempt fate with.
Little 1-1-3. It's actually just a 2-3. They just hide the fact and tandem the guards out front.
3 ball, too strong. Offensive rebound. Tough take in traffic. What a shot by MJ Collins.
Well, that's the trouble with zoning. Can you rebound out of it? Second shot opportunity for the Doors.
Robinson stopped. Into the corner to Pierce. Shot clock ticking down to 10 now for Tamar Bates. Bates still with just 3 points on the afternoon. Tough 3. Got it! That will go ahead and make some noise for the leading scorer, the senior Tamar Bates.
Isn't it fun to know that there are certain players willing to take and make tough shots?
Anybody else on the floor, that might be a bad shot, but not with Tamar Bates. Vandy an empty trip. Missouri looking for more here, up by 6.
Mismatch.
Yep. Bates, much bigger than Edwards. Now Grill with a deep 3. Tickles the twine. Back-to-back triples for Mizzou.
Again, Missouri is so much better, as is most teams, when you flip sides of the floor.
Edwards. Back out to Collins. Collins drew the foul on Pierce. Pierce left his feet. Collins gets the bailout, and he'll get 3 free throws when we return.
Missouri has answered the call with good ball reversal. One side of the floor to the other. Grill, a great catch and shoot guy. Two in. That's right.
And certainly the winner will have an upper hand.
After review, the ruling on the court is confirmed. 3-shot foul.
As you mentioned, Mark, the winner of this game is in the upper half. And the upper half of the SEC is the best upper half in college basketball.
Yeah, I think moving forward, the winner of this game will stay on the good side of Lenardi's cut line, and the other team, the losing team, will drop below. The one good thing about this league this year, you have plenty of opportunities to improve your resume.
You've got quad ones everywhere. What I've been impressed by so far today and go back to our game Wednesday, A&M, hostile environment. They come back and win it on the road at Oklahoma. That first slew of games, home teams for the most part were blowing out road teams. And even with a lot of good teams, the teams are so good that when they play at home, even if it's a good matchup, there's the potential for a blowout. I think today is another great case. We saw Auburn get a great battle and wind up winning on the road at South Carolina. Vanderbilt trying to keep this one close on the road. That's a good sign also for the depth of this league.
I thought, see if you agree with me, that South Carolina sent a message today with that in mind.
Yes.
Because they're shorthanded. They're playing the #1 team in the country, or who is going to be the #1 team in the country. And yet, when Broom was on the floor, Auburn was really struggling with South Carolina.
Gamecocks came to play. There's no doubt about that. They get after it. They play hard under Lamont Paris, and they had to find some different weapons. And I think today some guys stepped up. But that's the story of this league. No matter where you are in the standings, you know, last year you had obviously a Mizzou squad that went 0-18, and even they competed every night. Had so many close games. This year, I don't see any 0-18s or anything of the like in this conference.
Robinson just 3 for 7, and he entered the game 85%.
Wow, tough take. Jason Edwards with a slice and dice special. Back to a 4-point game. Josh Gray with a high ball screen. Shot clock ticking down to 7. Bates gets in the lane. Bates stuck. Bates got stripped. Great defense by McLaughlin. It's a 3-on-2. And a tough pass. And a beautiful play by Robinson on the steal.
The wrong guy was leading the break.
A 3-on-2. And all you get out of it is a turnover.
The offense is just grinded to a very snail's pace.
It really has. Again, late clock, down to 5. Gray needs to find a scorer. Gray just bowls over the opponent in an easy call as he knocks McLaughlin right down to the ground.
Take another look at Robinson. 3-on-2. He eyes. See the jab step? That is so good defensively. He baited McLaughlin into making that pass. Marvelous job on the sudden change defense by Missouri and Anthony Robinson.
Again, both these teams tied for 5th in the country with 10.5 steals per game. Commodores trying to cut that 4-point deficit down a little bit more. Oh, that's a good look. Nickel missed it. Couldn't ask for a better look for Tyler Nickel, who's a 37% three-point shooter.
That's the best look he's had the entire game.
I think he was so surprised how open he was. He could have set his feet maybe a little bit better. And timeout called. This offense is just, as you mentioned, Mark, it's gone stagnant. And certainly Coach Gates picking up on that says, let's talk about this.
Absolutely love this timeout by Dennis Gates to get organized offensively and to get Mark Mitchell back in the game.
Really good women's basketball matchup for you on Monday night. It'll be the Vanderbilt Commodores taking on the 6th ranked and undefeated LSU Tigers. Coverage for that one will tip off at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. He is Mark Wise. I am Mike Morgan. Busy day of action today in the SEC, and it's only going to get busier as time moves along. We talked about Auburn holding on to defeat South Carolina. Of course, everybody anxiously awaiting the news on Janai Broom on that ankle injury that was scary to watch. Florida trying to make a statement on the road against a very desperate Arkansas team looking to get on the right side of the ledger in conference play. Alabama A&M tonight, and Kentucky always has Mississippi State's number at the hump. That could change if Chris Jans and company can pull off. I don't even want to call it an upset. It's not really an upset. I'm guessing they'd be a slight favorite in that game, and They are, as you mentioned earlier, a really good team.
Mike, as we took a look at the slate of games, there are a lot of numbers on that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Ranked teams, there's
Oh,
a
my
boatload
goodness.
of ranked teams, and to put a bow on what kind of opportunities teams are going to have this year, Missouri, of their 18 league games, 13 are quad one opportunities. For Vanderbilt, one more. 14 of their 18 games, quad one opportunities.
Yep.
And it all boils down to who did you play, strength of schedule, who'd you beat, quad one wins,
right?
Where did you beat them? Road wins mean more.
It's the reason why an 8-10 team feels like a lock this year to make the field. A 7-11 could be a bubble team in the SEC.
See if Mitchell can get back into the flow of the game. He sat for a little bit.
Squirts it out to Grill. Shot clock at 3. Warwick's going to have to make it happen. Another offensive foul. And again, Missouri just out of sync right now.
You remember in the first half I said Missouri's offense was better than Vanderbilt's defense?
Yep.
That is completely flipped.
It's reversed.
Because Vanderbilt's defense has really taken over in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Missouri's having a hard time finding a look.
It is a 13th turnover on Mizzou. Hogarth, open shooter. Open 3 is drilled by Magnon.
Again, it's Hogarth attacking, getting feet in the paint, drawing the defender.
A 1-point game. Missouri has led throughout. Out of bounds. It'll stay into the hands of the Tigers.
Take another look at A.J. Hogarth. Watch when he gets feet in the paint. Look at the defender. He's bit inside. That's Bates. Hogarth makes the right read. The pass is on point. And Magnon knocks down his second 3-ball of the day.
He came in only 24% from downtown, but he's got a pretty stroke. Where does Missouri find its offense here? It's got to be Bates, doesn't it?
It seems like every possession is inside 5.
Warwick with 5. Back out. Open 3 for Mitchell. Missouri has gone cold. Vanderbilt on an 8-0 run. Hogarth coughed it up. Grill to Bates. Slam City! Missouri gets the crowd back alive.
That time Hogarth, one dribble too many.
Edwards with 7. Lost it. Another steal for Mizzou. Here comes Bates. Bates all the way. Draws the foul.
Usually at crunch time, your best players become your best players. And after the turnover, Bates in transition. That is an easy flush and easy points for Missouri and Bates. And no matter which angle you look at, it's the same result.
The results are normally better when Tamar Bates is on a heater. A very quiet first half, and he's starting to heat up here.
That is news. Bates missing a free throw.
96%.
43 for 45. I didn't even want to say that real loud.
Well, you kind of whispered it. Crowd on its feet here at the Zoo. Sellout crowd. Three from the corner. Grill flying in, tears away the rebound.
Can Missouri execute and get shots in the half court?
15,000 Missouri fans looking for a run here in the final 4 minutes. And they'll go back to a familiar place, the free throw line. With 3:44 to go, the emotions riding high for the Missouri Tigers on a run. Grill heating enough from behind the arc.
Hogarth's hands at all times and live with their decision making.
Nobody in this game has more than 3 fouls, so that's something to keep an eye out on as well, including free throws, which has been a major staple for Missouri this year, #1 in the country in made free throws per game.
Now that looked more like the 85% free throw shooter that Anthony Robinson has been this season.
Missouri ordinarily makes 21 a game. That is the 11th made free throw of the game. Make it 12.
So
Friendly bounce on the second.
You would never get that roll at the Carnival.
No, you would not. Crowd has been terrific all game long. They'll need him here. Hogarth missed it. Tap out. Mignon, kick out. Hogarth again with a 3 from the corner. And a quick timeout by Vandy.
Yeah, that's the old miss the tough 2, make a 3 play drawn up by Mark Byington. Again, it's after an offensive rebound when the defense is scattered, and that's when your best 3-point shots come on the half court. Take another look. The ball gets kicked out. It's the quick ball movement. Look at all the white jerseys around Magnon. And Hogarth knocks down the 3 ball. Again, look at all 5. All 5 white jerseys are in the paint. Grill tries to close out. It's late. Hogarth makes the Tigers pay.
The ball movement, when Vandy is going well, the ball movement is outstanding, isn't it?
Yes. Both teams are kind of built on the extra pass mentality. Now, I think I'm going to expect Vanderbilt to go down the floor here and pressure a little bit with Missouri.
That's exactly how they line up. Full court man-to-man setup out of the timeout. Grill will be the trigger man.
Well, they wanted to hit Bates on the fly pattern.
Bates is all the way down in the corner on the other end. Something tells me he might touch it eventually on this possession.
Much quicker start.
Robinson. Up top, Warwick. Shot clock under 10 for Warwick. Rejected by McLaughlin. Where did he come from?
That is rim protection supreme.
Hogarth.
Hogarth will look for a shoulder to attack. Watch.
Hogarth one-on-one. Finds a cutter. Mignon missed it. McLaughlin, no. Tapped around, out of bounds. Missouri ball.
Take another look at McLaughlin, the weak side defender, come away from outside the paint to recover and be the rim protector. Man, is that impressive.
That is really impressive. He was completely out of our screen.
Gets it on the way up.
Yeah, clean block. And then Missouri unable to capitalize on the other end. Missouri could have tied it. Excuse me, Vanderbilt could have tied it with a 3. Missouri will try to add to a 3-point lead here. 2.5 minutes to go. Backdoor cut, Grill. Grill gets it to go on the reverse. Again, the crowd comes alive. Edwards fouled on a 3-pointer from the corner. 3 free throws coming up for an 87% free throw shooter in Jason Edwards.
I love this last possession by Missouri, Mike. Watch the way that this play draws everybody up the floor. It's all designed to be a backdoor cut by Grill. See how all 8 players are lifted above the free throw line?
Yep.
That only leaves the one-on-one opportunity. That's great execution and a great call by the bench.
Edwards working on a 17, make it 18-point afternoon, and a perfect 5 for 5 from the line.
Well, Warwick took a bad angle on his closeout.
If he hits this one, we've got a 2-point game with 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining. More pressure by the Commodores. Into the hands of Robinson. Important possession right here.
2-point game, 2 minutes to go. It's another game in the SEC.
Yes, another grind it out. Could be a last-second thriller. Grill off a curl, and he draws the foul. They have now drawn up 2 consecutive plays for the veteran Caleb Grill, and he is not disappointed.
That time, Edwards got caught reaching into the cookie jar of Grill on the way up. Take another look. Grill comes off this screen. He's going to catch and shoot. There's the reach in.
That play is under further review.
Oh, he's so far behind the line.
Is it time for your challenge system
Yeah,
diatribe yet?
I'm ready for the challenge system. I think we should go to a coach's challenge system on calls like this.
Yeah, I think every
After review, the ruling on the floor is confirmed. 3-shot foul.
every review thus far has been pretty obvious as we welcome you into our humble abode here at the table. Best view for an incredible game thus far. 2 teams, as we mentioned, surprise teams throughout the year. Missouri looked like they were ready to just completely overwhelm Vandy early on in this game, but what a great comeback by the Commodores.
A great comeback, and yet as I look to the last 2 minutes here, I always ask this question. What players are willing to be the tough shot takers and the tough shot makers in crunch time?
Well, so far the answer to part of that question has been Caleb Grill. They draw up the 1 play for him on the backdoor cut. He gets a layup. They draw up a curl 3-ball shot at the top, and he draws 3 free throws. Caleb Grill out of Wichita, Kansas. You know, last year just had to be frustrating for him, right? To have to watch his team go through that awful spell in the SEC, and there's nothing he could do about it. Nobody would have loved to have been out there more to help out his Tigers than Caleb Grill. And then there was no question he wanted to come back for another year. Great culture here at Mizzou. And now he's got a chance to get his team back to the NCAA tournament.
Missouri to the zone.
Hogard thought about it. He'll let it go. Missed it short. Nice box out on the play by Pierce. And now Missouri can bleed a little clock. Up by 5.
But don't lose your aggressiveness at the end of the possession.
Right.
I'd let Mitchell drive.
Mitchell guarded by McLaughlin. Bump foul and 1. Thank you, Coach.
On cue. Mitchell is so comfortable facing the basket. It makes bigger players have to guard Mitchell out on the floor. He goes into the shoulder, just enough of a ball fake to get McLaughlin off rhythm defensively. That leads to the and 1 opportunity.
Mitchell, who has struggled at the line this year, he's been good today, 5 for 6. This would make it an 8-point game. And the lefty rattles it home. A game-high 18 points for Mark Mitchell. Shot blocked and a foul against Robinson.
Well, no player ever thinks they committed the foul. I actually thought Edwards was looking for a teammate to find at the arc. Didn't see anybody. Decided to shoot. And it was the extension of the right hand, I believe, by Robinson. Yes. Wow, there's not much there. And I've got people that are agreeing with me, Mike.
Well, some would say ball don't lie as Edwards misses the free throw.
87% free throw shooter at the line.
His first one he's missed today, 7 for 8. He missed both of them. Wow, that's a news flash.
Yeah, I think you've got a foul. I don't think you can play a possession game.
1 minute remaining.
Wide open 3. too strong. Now Vanderbilt can run. Numbers for the Commodores. Oh no, a turnover. Boy, at one point it looked like a 4-on-1.
Pierce, oh, what a bad
And
pass.
Missouri gives it right back.
Woo. Trent Pierce never gave up on this play in recovery on defense. Watch this effort by 11 White. Top part of your screen, sprinting. Not only gets his hand in to make the deflection, but gathers and creates the turnover. That is a great individual play.
Edwards, needed, missed it. Offensive rebound. Hogard, needed, he misses. And the rebound is in the hands of who else? Mark Mitchell. And Missouri can smell its 13th consecutive win on the home floor.
Oddly enough, down the stretch, it's been Missouri doing Missouri things like getting to the free throw line. Again, nobody on the free throw line. Change in repetition.
Psychology. To make it a 9-point game. He does. Vanderbilt does have one timeout remaining. They need points. They need them quickly. Edwards flying in. Grill gets it. Now you got a foul.
I think that's it.
That's it. Vanderbilt will peel off. Missouri will improve to 2-1 in the SEC and a 13th consecutive win here at the Zoo.
Remember that Missouri jumped out to a 14-2 lead in this game. Played in front the entire 40 minutes, but man, did Vandy make things interesting coming down the stretch.
It's a great battle, a well-fought game between two of the better stories this year in the Southeastern Conference. Missouri prevails 75-66, your final score. I want to hear about the rest of the SEC back in studio with our own Alyssa Lay.